home prices under $1 million, top-ranked schools, and a 10-minute drive from the GO station to downtown Toronto. Sounds like an easy yes, right? But that's not the full picture. When you live in Whitby, there are hidden costs most people don't see coming. A 401 commute that can break you on the wrong day, and a few neighborhoods that are overpriced for what you actually get. In this video today, I'm breaking down what it's really like living in Whitby in 2026. And after 14 years of working with a lot of people moving in and around Durham region, I've seen exactly what works, what doesn't, and who Whitby actually makes sense for. But if you don't know me yet, my name is Tristian Clunis. I am a realtor helping people like you moving in and around the Durham region and the GTA. When the time is right, reach out. I'd love to help you out. My goal with this channel is to make it your go-to resources for all things Durham region. So make sure you like this video and hit subscribe. All right, let's get back into it. Here's where Whitby actually stands right now because the market has shifted and most of what people think they know is already outdated. As of the latest TREB data, the average home price in Whitby is sitting around $847,000 with roughly 18 days on market, which is very fast. Whitby, Ajax, and Burlington are the three fastest selling pockets in the entire GTA right now. But here's the nuance. Across the broader GTA, average prices are down about 6.7% year over year. Buyers currently have negotiating power that they haven't had in over 2 years. Rates are off their peak, so you've got a market that's moving fast locally, but still giving buyers room to negotiate. And that information matters because Whitby is currently attracting Toronto move-outs, Durham move-up buyers, and first-time buyers priced out of the 416, and investors all at the same time. And that mix of buyers is shaping what's available, what's moving fast, and what's currently sitting. Understanding the current conditions is the difference between a good move and an expensive mistake. So let's start with what things actually cost to own here. Everyone talks about the home prices, but the real monthly cost is what usually catches people off guard. When I pull current data from TREB, the average home price in Whitby is sitting around $847,000. Entry-level homes, so think freehold townhomes or older semis in the neighborhood like Bluegrass Meadows or downtown Whitby, usually start in the low to mid 700s. New construction, especially in Brooklyn near the top rated schools, pushes into the high 900s and well past $1.1 million for a detached home. And at the top end, like your luxury homes, estates near Heber Downs or executive detaches in North Whitby, for example, that will range from $1.5 million into easily mid 2 millions. On the property tax side, this is where Whitby gets real. The town just approved a 3.44% municipal tax increase from 2026, and the broader Durham region rate came in at 4.8%. Whitby's final residential tax rate is about 1.33%, which, guys, that's close to double the Toronto rate, which is roughly around 0.75%. Now, here's the nuance most buyers miss. Your tax bill isn't calculated on what you paid for the house. It's calculated on your MPAC assessed value, which is still frozen at 2016 values across Ontario. So the average Whitby household today is paying around $6,700 to $7,000 a year in property tax on an average assessment of about $503,000. But, and this is an important but, newly built homes and recently reassessed properties get taxed much closer to current market value. So on a new build in Brooklyn, for example, assessed around its purchase price, you can realistically be looking at $10,000 to $13,000 a year. That's the number Toronto buyers don't see coming when they're chasing new construction. Always, and I mean always, ask for the actual tax bill before you write an offer, not an estimate. Zooming out now on cost of living, groceries and things like gas and daily expenses run very close to the rest of the GTA. Don't expect a suburb discount there. Healthcare is OHIP across the board. Where Whitby does help you out, utilities tend to be more predictable than Toronto condo fees and older urban homes, and you're not paying that ridiculous Toronto municipal land transfer tax on the way in, which is on $1 million purchase, saves you around $15,000 at closing. So yes, you are paying a premium to be here, but the question is whether what you get in return justifies it, and that starts, of course, with education. But before we keep going, if you are thinking about Whitby, this is exactly what I do every day. I help people figure out which neighborhood fits their lifestyle and avoid areas that look good on paper but don't deliver. Now let's get into schools. School ratings get a lot of attention, but how the schools actually work is what changes how people feel about living here long term. The Durham District School Board serves most of Whitby, with the Durham Catholic District School Board running the Catholic stream. Schools like Donald A. Wilson Secondary, Sinclair Secondary, and All Saints Catholic High School consistently rank among the strongest in Durham region, with strong test scores, competitive programs, and a wide range of extracurriculars. French immersion programs is widely available, and specialty programs like Max at Dunbarton, just over the border in Pickering, pull high-performing students from across the region. What separates Whitby schools isn't just the rankings, it's the programs and the resources. Families relocating from Toronto or Mississauga are often surprised by what's available here at the public school level. Strong art programs, well-funded athletics, and class sizes that are actually on average more manageable than what you would see across denser parts of the GTA. The reality check? School boundaries matter a lot in this market. They are one of the biggest drivers of price differences between neighborhoods that look similar on paper. Let's talk about neighborhoods by budget. When you break Whitby down by budget, the neighborhood starts to make a lot more sense. On the accessible end, $700,000 to $800,000, we have Bluegrass Meadows. Bluegrass Meadows is where the value shows up at the entry level. Homes here are mostly 1970s to 1990s builds. Solid freehold townhouses and older detached homes sit in the low to mid 700,000s. You're closer to the 401, Whitby Go, and you're zoned into decent DDSB schools. This is the neighborhood I send first-time buyers and young families to when they want a freehold home without stretching past their comfort zone. Moving up, Pringle Creek and Williamsburg stand out. Prices average around $900,000 to $1.1 million, and they're mostly late 90s to mid 2000 detached builds. You've got great access to Roslyn, the 412 extension, Iroquois Park Sports Center, and some of the stronger school catchments in central Whitby. This is move up buyer territory. The family that outgrew a townhouse and wants a proper detached home without jumping to $1.5 million. Now, if you're looking for character and walkability in the $900,000 to $1.2 million range, we have downtown Whitby and Port Whitby. If location and feel matter more than square footage, downtown Whitby and Port Whitby are worth a close look. It has century homes, heritage streets, and newer lower-rise condos from around $900,000 up past $1.2 million for renovated detached homes. This is where I send Toronto move-outs who don't want to give up walkability, and downsizers who want community feel without the Toronto price. At the top of the market, Brooklin is the premium option. Newer builds, larger lots, and top-rated schools with a small-town Main Street feel that families pay up for. Expect $1.3 million to $2 million plus, depending on the build and the area pocket. This is where executive buyers and growing families go when they want new construction with strong schools and they're willing to trade commute to get it. Now, before you settle on any one neighborhood, there's a factor most people underestimate until they're living in it: the daily commute. Let's get into that next. On paper, the access looks great, but in practice, it depends entirely on when you're leaving and when you're going. If you're commuting into downtown Toronto, the Lakeshore East GO train from Whitby Go takes about 55 to 65 minutes to Union Station on a good day. Driving is roughly 55 kilometers by road, so about 50 minutes with no traffic and 75 to 90 minutes plus during rush hour if the 401 is having a bad day. You've got solid highway access via the 401, the 407, and the 412 connector. Places like Ajax, Pickering, Oshawa, and Markham are all within reasonable range. Toronto Pearson is about an hour off peak, Billy Bishop closer to 50 minutes. And major employers like Ontario Power Generation, Ontario Tech University, you have Lakeridge Health, and the expanding 407 employment lands are among the bigger draws in or near the area. Where it gets frustrating, and trust me, I lost a lot of hair from this, as you guys can see, the 401 between Whitby and Pickering is the pressure point. One accident or one disabled vehicle and a 50-minute drive turns into 2 hours easily. Peak hours, school pickup windows, and bad weather all compounded. The reality, if your job is a daily downtown commute, You need to treat the GO train as your primary plan and not the car. The car needs to be your backup, not the other way around. Buyers who flip that assumption regret it within 6 months easily. Outside of downtown, you're going to need a car for most daily errands. And that's worth factoring into your decision, especially if you're coming from somewhere more walkable like downtown Toronto or Mississauga's core. When the commute isn't a factor though, and you're just living here day to day, this is where Whitby really earns its price tag. Next up is lifestyle and daily life. The best way to understand Whitby is to understand what a normal Tuesday will look like. The waterfront, so Port Whitby, the marina, the waterfront trails, that is the signature. It's the kind of place that shapes how people feel about living here. Morning runs along the lake, Sunday farmers market, you have summer concerts at the harbor. It gives the town a center of gravity that a lot of GTA suburbs just don't have. Downtown Whitby has character. Brock Street has local favorites alongside bigger names like places like Tambo Cheese or Bo Daddy's or Teddy's, and the restaurants around the Whitby's farmers market. That's what people actually talk about. Places like Brooklin. Brooklin has its own main street with a different, more small town feel. For recreation, you have the Whitby Ability Center, Iroquois Park Sports Center, Heber Downs Conservation Area, and the full Lakeshore Trail network. Hockey, soccer, baseball, and basketball are woven into the culture year-round. And the calendar stays full. Harbor Days, Rib Fest, Canada Day at the waterfront, Christmas in the Village up in Brooklin. Events run consistently through spring, summer, and fall. The community vibe is what sells people. It's family focused, faith-friendly, sports-heavy, and genuinely neighborly in a way that's getting rare in the GTA.
Let's be honest about who this actually makes sense for and who'd probably be happier somewhere else. Whitby works well for growing families who want real space, strong schools, and that community feel without jumping to $1.8 million. It works for move-up buyers from denser parts of the GTA who want a backyard and a garage. It works for hybrid or remote workers who only commute downtown 1 to 2 days a week. Now mind you, I live in Whitby and I commute 50 minutes every single day. And it works for investors targeting freehold cash flow with long-term appreciation from GTA spillover. If those things describe you, then this market delivers. But it probably isn't the right fit if you're a daily, 5-day-a-week downtown commuter who hates driving. Or if you want a truly walkable transit-first lifestyle, you'll be happier in Toronto or maybe Oakville. Or if you're chasing maximum square footage per dollar, you probably should be heading further east to Oshawa or Clarington where your budget really stretches. I'd rather tell you that now than have you find out 6 months in. Whitby delivers on what it promises, but only if you go in clear-eyed about the price, the trade-offs, and what you're actually getting. The people who do best here aren't the ones who fell in love with the idea of it. They're the ones who understood what they were buying into and decided it was worth it. If you're thinking about making a move here, I'd love to help you out to figure out if this is the right call for you specifically. All of my info is in the description below or in the pinned comment. I'll see you guys on the next video. Remember, Clunis, ask Clunis. Have a great day.